Have you ever decided to stay in your comfort zone to avoid risk even when there was a good opportunity at hand? Right. In this video, what I want to share with you are some really key neuroscience tips on how you can build confidence in the workplace. Right? When it comes to self-confidence, there's a key difference between self-confidence and self-esteem. Right? Self-confidence is how we view ourselves and our abilities with respect to accomplishing a goal, and how we see ourselves achieving a specific goal. Right? And it's really, when you think of the word confidence, the root word of confidence is to confide, and confide means to tell the truth. It is truthfulness. Right? Whereas self-esteem is very different. Self-esteem is how we view ourselves in terms of our worth, our self-worth. So for example, somebody with high self-esteem would say, for example, that I deserve that promotion. I've worked hard and I deserve that promotion, or I deserve that opportunity. So there's a really key difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. In this video, I'm just going to be focusing on how do you build self-confidence. Let's go. Tip number 1 is congruency with your true values. When it comes to lack of self-confidence, oftentimes the behavior that we see is that we choose to stay in our comfort zone, right? Because we fear risk, because we fear what other people might think, what others might think. And so a lot of times people with low self-confidence are basing their decisions on what others think. And what happens is that the core of the reason why this happens is that we're adopting someone else's values on what's important or what is key in our career paths. And when that happens, it means that we are not true to what we truly value. And maybe we don't have clarity on what we genuinely value, and so we're adopting someone else's perspective on what is important, and so therefore it's easy in that case to make decisions based on what others think rather than what we believe is important to us. So one of the key tips in order to develop self-confidence is to develop absolute clarity on what you genuinely value for your life and for your career. Once you do that, it's being able to know that this is what's important to me, and at the end of the day, I can have my self-confidence intact because I've made decisions every day throughout the day that are in complete alignment and congruency with what I value. Tip number 2 is to clarify your emotions, right? There is a myth that self-confidence means we got to keep it together on the outside. And so what happens is that we tend to avoid our emotions. And oftentimes when we have a lack of self-confidence in the area of our career, we experience feelings like self-doubt, disappointment, anger, or maybe even feeling upset about something. And we want to avoid these emotions because our brain naturally wants to protect us from feeling those things. Our brain wants to protect us from the embarrassment of rejection, for example, or from feeling doubt or for feeling depression. And so as a result of that self-protection mechanism, oftentimes we like to avoid our emotions, right? But in order for us to develop true self-confidence, unshakable self-confidence, it's not about being able to hold it together on the outside and avoiding our emotions. It's about being strong enough to feel our emotions, to really understand what we feel and why we feel those things. Once you really feel them and understand and clarify what your emotions are, it is from that space that you can break free from being able to have your emotions control you, and therefore you can better manage your emotions. Because one key characteristic of building self-confidence is having self-mastery. And self-mastery comes from internal, in meaning having control over our emotions and not letting our emotions define us. But before we can get to that place, it's understanding what we feel, being able to articulate it, and strong enough and to be having that courage to feel them rather than avoid them. Tip number 3 is communication skills mastery, right? Being able to communicate effectively with other people allows us to build self-confidence, because then we are able to exude confidence. We're able to exude confidence even if deep inside we don't actually feel confident. When you are an effective communicator, a great orator, you can exude confidence. And this is also a key characteristic of being a good leader, because great communicators are able to be in connection with other people, right? Great communicators are also great contemplators because they have the vocabulary and the vernacular to be able to express themselves and to share ideas. And another effect of having great communication skills is that you can elevate your contributions and have a greater impact out in the world. And therefore, when you have that achievement, you accelerate your career growth, and then you can look back on the truth of what you have accomplished. Great communication is a key for mastering self-confidence, because when you are able to communicate communicate well, you can be confident in having that skill set as well. So if you're somebody who is serious and you recognize the need for communication because you want to contribute to your fullest potential, you want to be a leader in your industry, and you also want to be confident, truly confident of the accomplishments you've had in your career path, then I invite you to book a call with me. Below this video, the first link in the description of this video, there is a link to book a call directly with myself or a member of my team. And this is where I'm going to help you, take you by the hand step by step, to help you to master your communication skills and therefore to build unshakable confidence from within, right? And this is only if you are serious about building that skill set for you, serious about investing in your knowledge and your growth path, then that is for you. However, if you are a beginner in your career path, or maybe you are a student or a recent graduate, then this opportunity is not for you at the moment, because this is only for those who have an established career path, right? If you are ambitious, if you are looking to elevate into executive level positions, then this is for you. And I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Tip number 4 is to complete your perspective. Perspective is a place on which you stand while you are observing everything that's going on around you. That is your perspective. Here's the thing about perspective. You were not born with your current perspectives. Your perspectives are programmed in you as you grew up, as you go through life, as you interact with people, as you have your life experiences. Our perspectives got here automatically by default. And so tip number 4 is to complete your perspective. And that means to realize that the place that you're standing and observing all of those around us is causing the lack of self-awareness, self-confidence, because a lack of self-confidence is nothing more than having these perspectives that got there by default, but needing others to affirm it for us. We need that external confirmation for that perspectives, and that is really the core of lack of self-confidence. But understand that in our perspectives, the perspectives we have about things that happen around us are not 100% real. They're not truly reality, because even if in the moment in your workplace, perhaps you are in a disagreement with somebody, perhaps there is a disagreement of opinion or disagreement of ideas, just because you're in disagreement with someone doesn't make your perspective 100% true. In any disagreement, there's a 50% chance that you could be right, and also an equally 50% chance that you can be wrong. So the opportunity here is to complete your perspective, and here's what that means. It means to understand that we generally have an incomplete perspective. Most of the times, people enter into a conversation or into a meeting hoping to be understood more than to understand others. And we desire for other people to come and adopt and come into our perspective. And so you see, somebody with true self-confidence does not need to have that affirmation from the environment. Self-confidence is connected to your perspective, which means how you see yourself in relationship to others in your environment. You can really tell if someone is truly confident. It means that their environment does not control their confidence. Because if your environment controls whether or not you have self-confidence, then it really isn't true confidence to begin with. Now, I know what I've shared with you so far, tips number 1 to 4 were really deep, right? And oftentimes when we hear things for the first time, sometimes we need to hear it again and again to really internalize this new knowledge. So I want to hear from you. Comment below. Share with me what you've learned so far, what the key takeaways are from you. Comment below, because oftentimes when you want to really start to learn something new and to internalize new information, what we need to do is participate, to do something about our knowledge. So comment below, get in the practice of talking about it, get in the practice of contributing about it, and I hope to hear from you. And as well, if this resonated with you in any way, remember to give me a thumbs up, and remember to ring that bell below, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so that you can receive notifications every time I release a new video. And tip number 5, final tip, is to change your truth habit. What do I mean by that? Remember how at the beginning of this video, I shared with you that confidence has the root word of to confide, and confide requires truth. Right? You cannot confide in someone unless you trust them, right? And there's no confiding in someone if you're not telling them the truth. So a lack of self-confidence means that you don't trust yourself because you cannot confide in yourself. So what does that mean? How does that even happen, right? If we don't trust ourselves, it means that we've told ourselves so many things over the years and we don't end up following through with it. So it ends up that we don't even believe a word that we say. So let me give you a concrete example. If I told myself that I want to apply for this position, or if I told myself I want to work on this skill set, I want to get better at communication, right? And I need to work on it because it's urgent. And I kept telling myself that. However, months turned into years and years turned into decades, and I still never did anything about it. Then over the years, while I'm making these promises to myself and I'm not taking action, then I'm not going to be able to trust a word that I say. And therefore, I lack self-confidence. And so this is really deep, right? Because confide is truth. If that is true, and this is real talk, this is where you reflect, is it really true? What have I been telling myself? What decisions have I not been making? And I know I should have made those decisions years ago or months ago, but I still haven't made them yet. This is your opportunity to change your truth habit. Make a decision. Make a decision to invest in yourself. Make a decision to make that change that you know you need to make. Make the decision to get the coaching that you need to become the person that is required for you to have what you desire in your career and in your life. And when you make a decision, you are cutting off all other possibilities, because this is a commitment you make to yourself and for yourself. So tip number 5 is to change your truth habits.